Good morning, everyone. Quick garden update. Actually, not so much garden, but just wanted to show you what we got going on inside so far. Um, this is my new little project I got going on here. I'm going to zoom out a little bit so you can see. I don't know if you're going to be able to get that, but this is my front table right now. It's very dirty. What happens when you're working with dirt. So you'll see I got my flowers up top. Those are impatiens and snapdragons. And then that's most of the stuff that really hasn't germinated yet. There's a heating pad under there, but I don't think it's on. But under, you can see on a shitty day like today, pardon my language, not really getting a whole lot of sun through that front window. And with seedlings, you're constantly fighting the stretch. So this was my solution. I got a new grow tent over the winter, actually just about a month ago, and I got a replacement light for that. So I had my old one, which is 100 watt, and I just hung it from the table. You see, I just used the cord to go around. Okay, so I got that just hanging under my table. So this gives me all kinds of extra space to get stuff started. So I just wanted to show you what I'm doing so far. Really trying to get a jump on it. A lot of my peppers were stunted last year, and some of them I burned up in my greenhouse. My cayenne peppers, which surprisingly I got a ton of peppers and made a ton of sauce that quickly sold out. But this year, kind of didn't want to repeat those mistakes, and that's really the secret to gardening, I think, is just to always try to do it better than the last time you did it, and learn. There's a million different ways to do stuff, but as long as you're learning, and staying away from pitfalls, I guess, that can lead to disaster. And experiment. Like, you'll see some of this stuff is really just me seeing if I can get away with it. It's still pretty cold. I know we're not really close to our risk of last frost. Matter of fact, I think next week they're now calling for a day, or a night, I should say, around 28 degrees. So there you go. But pretty much this year, the only thing so far that I have outside, I have one. Well, let me just go over what we got here real quick. Let me do a quick roll call, I guess. We won't go over all these different peppers. I'd have to lift them up to see exactly which varieties they are. I'm doing 10 different varieties. So we won't go into that quite yet, but let's start up here. Got some beets started in the back row there. I don't know why I like doing beets. I like using them in my hot sauce sometimes for color. Now those really stretched out, but those I'm not so worried about. I could toss some seeds outside, even in the next coming weeks, if I need to start those over. So those got a little leggy on me. Going right into the tomatoes. Those are my Roma seedlings. Aren't stretching too bad. But those were like the sickliest of all of them. I don't know why, but my Romas, the seedlings, aren't doing the best. There's another variety there. Basically, we're going crossways. So when I say those are Romas, if you look at where the tip of my finger is, those two are Romas. These two, I think, are a white currant. These two, the ones that are doing the best so far, are a Chadwick cherry variety tomato. All right, let's look. Let's just look at these. Okay, these are the white currant. I'll spin those back around. These are the white currant tomatoes. Super excited to see how those turned out. We'll probably do a follow-up video on those. But I do know that these are my Chadwick cherries. My wife picked those out. So that must mean those are my beefsteaks. Right? Oh, no. You know what these are? Those are the tomatillos. Those right there. Those are tomatillos, right? Oh, I wasn't going to reach in. Oh. Tomatillos. Physalis. Okay. We got some beautiful peppers. We got some hot ones, some not so hot ones. The next row is going to be a little hard to see because they're spindly. But that's my asparagus. I do have some crowns started, but I did want to start some from seed as well. I also have some asparagus back there. Those are asparagus. Ooh, let me zoom back out. More peppers. And then up here, this is dill, which again, I'm going to throw these outside. This whole tray. Cucumbers. These are the pickles, folks. And these aren't even the biggest ones. I've got pickles in the ground outside already. The first wave. This is the second wave I planted. And then I have another 3 trays that I just planted last night. Some more peppers. These are actually, if you remember our Facebook post, when I said we had a winner for the first up. Oh! I just watered everything. So everything's all slippery. Peppa Peach Stripey. And that's what these are too. So I'm going to yoink those two out of there and get them in cups. Just because I don't want anything root bound this year. Let them get big. But Peppa Peach Stripey, that's a variety that's going to be good for pickling and then stuffing with cream cheese. Not too hot. You know, it's got like that pickly peppercini level. You know, and like a sweetness to it. These all along here are the dragon tongue beans. I'm only doing one bean variety. And that's it. Dragon tongue beans. And these are coming along excellent. So I actually put one of these outside and it's been doing awesome. These are sunflowers, which I might have started a little early, but I got a ton more seeds. We'll see. I put 2 of those outside and they're bent over. Like they're hating it. The brassicas are doing great. They love it. I got Brussels sprouts, broccoli, and cabbage all outside already. Not planted, but just, you know, sitting in these little seed trays. You know, because they can start getting used to the sun and getting hardened off, and they, you know, can just grow in it. If you grow something outside and it sprouts outside, it's fine. But when you germinate indoors, remember there's no wind, you know, a slight breeze from my register there. I should have my fan on it, but I've been hogging it for myself. But there's no breeze. The light isn't as strong. This is actually, I should go ahead and turn this up a little bit by now. It's got a couple settings. I don't run this full bore all day. It's usually You know, for a 100-watt light, it's usually on its like 1/3 setting. So it's like 30 watts. No timer, I just come and switch it on, brighten it up. And then, you know, once afternoon rolls around, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, I'll start dialing it back down before I turn it off. Let's finish this row here. This is spinach. I don't know if it hasn't all germinated yet. You can see there's one there that hasn't come up yet, but is poking through. But we got some. Trying to keep the lettuce under the lights as much as possible. That's some Little Gem butter lettuce. This is black seeded Simpson, and it just went wild. So I don't know if it's toast because it's, you know, got a little leggy on me or what. Those ones that look like butterflies, those are mustard. I think I'm not going to reach over again because I'll probably drop something again. What are those? I think just herbs. I think that's like, oh god, I'm gonna regret this. Whoa. Oh, yep. Thai sweet basil. And this one here is random peppers. So that's where we're at, and that's what we're up to so far. At least over in this area here. Garlic's looking great outside. I got the one main row that I did like normal. It was planted the earliest, which was still early November. I don't plant in October. I started in November to get a little less fall growth and more spring growth. So, but other than that, normal. You know, so straw, everything regular. Then I have a side plot with about 200 that I did with no mulch, bare ground, and I just planted some Dutch white clover. And I'm going to try doing a living cover crop, like a living mulch, because the clover is a nitrogen fixer. So kind of a little experiment with that. I might regret it. Some people who have done it online, I want to know. I saw you. I hear you that it was a complete disaster and you'd never do it again. It's just one of those mistakes that I'm gonna have to make for myself, you know. So I want to see what happens, because weeds can be a disaster. So if I got something that at least I can tell myself is good for my soil and it's not a weed, tell myself that and just let it grow in there amongst my garlic. We'll see. I know garlic is a heavy feeder, and it doesn't like competition. I mean, that's just the reality of it. You know, being a bulb plant like that. But you know, what do people do that plant acres and acres of garlic? How do you weed that? Is it Monsanto garlic and you're using Roundup? You know, how do you know? I don't know, but that's it. That's your update. One more thing here, real quick. Okay. These guys want their breakfast. Can you tell? Huey, Dewey, Louie. And we have Marvin, Luther, and Al. And then we got some Monstera cuttings that I'm trying to see if I can get to propagate. Alright, anyway. This is the new grow tent. I'm not going to show you what I got in here yet because that's a secret project that'll come into play later. But I do have some peppers on the floor. 2 trays. Well, it's like 1 tray now of more pepper seedlings in there. And no, it's not a coincidence that this fish tank is right next to the tent. Because if you know anything, you know I love using my fish tank water. That's actually why it looks a little depleted right now. Because I steal their water from them all the time. And I haven't put in a bucket back yet. But what if I could use this tank just as a reservoir, put a hose in there, maybe run a hydroponic system? That's currently the question that's been on my mind. Can I just use this? I got to get some better plants in here. I know these are a joke. I got some live plants coming. These are just old. Let's see if we can get Greg. You can see him back there. He's our resident Placo. Algae eater. He'll get big. And then Rainbow, the African dwarf water frog, likes to live in that cave there, but he's probably doing something else. Chilling. Alright, anyway. That's it. We'll keep you posted. Phelps Farms.